It all started with the spores. Little was known about them, but by the time anyone noticed, it was far too late. Shit. Fuck. Oh no. Fucking camp. The invasion already happened. Pretty clever for such mindless creatures.
Blessed is the mind too small for doubt, brother.
Blessed be the Emperor's protection. My home was lost, but I will make them pay in blood for every piece of dirt. Blessed are those gifted with hatred, for they are the Emperor's hands.
Death to the heretics.
In 5D!
5D. Klops, hold on. First of all, part of the reason we're laughing is I know that everybody who's listening at home, this is not going to make sense. But for when me and Eduardo listen to this, the audio is so all over the place when we're listening on our end when you play it.
Yeah.
It sounds smooth on the recording. It sounds smooth when I put it up. But us listening live right now when you do it, it's like, me talking and like and every range in between there. It is so fucking ridiculous.
So it's
your narrator and your main character need drastically different voices. God damn it!
Well, no,
that's why I need more fucking people. God damn it!
No,
I'm a one-man show over here.
That's not the
You
issue.
didn't write me and just be like, "Hey, record this. I can find some time in a week. Just send me lines. I don't need context."
Says the man that's always like, "I'm too busy. I gotta do all this stuff and write."
I am doing everything, and I am too busy. But if I'm fucking here anyways, at least send it to me.
Do that to
All right. Let me bring this in. We got something to talk about. A very sad thing happened, and we just need a moment to stop the bickering and talk about Peter Mayhew.
Oh,
I don't know who that is.
yes, you do.
Yeah,
played
you
Chewbacca.
do, big guy.
Oh yeah, okay, that guy.
Yeah,
I only know him as Chewbacca.
Look, he played him pretty much up until I think Solo was the last go around, or no, it was the one right before Solo, and then he finally retired.
No, 8. Sorry, it was 8.
So he played Chewbacca throughout all of them, and you know he passed away. So I wanted to take a moment and just kind of give credit to a man who, even if we never saw his face on film, he entertained the dick out of us for years. So.
Thanks for playing a big monkey bear, buddy.
Yeah,
I love Chewbacca. He's
No,
one of my
Chewbacca's the
favorites.
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was great how expressive he could be without actually saying anything.
I have one buddy at work who is like die-hard Star Wars fan. Like, you cut him and the theme song starts playing from his veins. That shit runs so deep in him. And he had a big art
He dreams in screen crawl.
Seriously. He had an art show opening that night, and he was like very on edge and very nervous, and a bunch of people from work were going to his art show opening the night Peter Mayhew died. And I was like having to grab you and be like, yeah, don't mention that shit. You don't fucking say that to him tonight. That's tomorrow news. Tonight is shut the fuck up and let him do his art opening.
Yeah. Oh my god, he would have been.
It would have broken him.
Yeah. When I first found out, I was just like, okay, so I identified more with Chewbacca than I did with Carrie. Like, when Carrie passed, it was really sad, right? But she was never like, I was always a Luke guy and a Han guy. So out of the main three, but man, who didn't love Chewbacca? Like,
well, I mean, what about when R2-D2 died?
See, I didn't hear about that until way later.
Oh,
So
that little man.
Yeah, it didn't have the same impact.
People die. I'm always kind of sad, but not like super.
It's more upsetting when they're like 26 and they crash their Harley when they're fucked up on cocaine. When an older person dies, you got to be like, oh man, that's sad. But
I feel like that was a Ryan Dunn reference.
Dude, that was sad.
Yeah, that was pretty.
I don't know. I still don't get too sad no matter who dies. It's just they die. It's the circle of life, man.
The circle of life.
All right. To add some levity, this is a bit of e-news. I got a couple of things here. Blink-182, that band that we all kind of cursorily listened to in high school.
Okay, first of all, no, we did not all listen to them in high school.
In one way or another, whether it was
Listened
in
to 'em in
movies
college.
or TV shows, we've all heard their fucking songs.
No, I've heard it, but honestly, Blink-182 is like my least. I think they are the worst band ever to go on tour. I cannot stand Blink-182. They are god awful.
I
Do not ever
disagree.
lump me
Give
in
me
a
that
category
Fall Out
with
Boy.
anybody who enjoys that
My
band.
Chemical Romance.
Yeah, My Chemical Romance and
we-
Fall Out Boy are way worse.
We all have those bands. I'm just saying, like, every time we go, Travis Barker's one of the most talented drummers in the world. Where? Show me the video. Show me the song. I've yet to hear anything by that guy that's more than like. I'm not saying he can play drums, but there is nothing overly special about that guy. Nothing. He is
And
an
you know what?
average drummer.
Here's the really fucked up bit. I actually like one of their side projects more than I like Blink-182, and it's not Angels
Boxcar
and
Racer?
Airwaves. Yeah, Boxcar
everybody likes
Racer.
fucking Boxcar Racer.
I thought it was pretty good. Also, I was sitting around this weekend listening to Angels and Airwaves because it got a new song out, and after a while, I realized it wasn't the same song playing, and we'd been at it for like an hour, and I was like, wait, did we change songs? Are you kidding? Everything sounded the same. Even my wife was like, why do we keep listening to the same thing over and over again? But anyways, okay, so they're going on tour. I would. Have you guys heard about this?
No.
Okay, I would give each of you 5 guesses, and I don't think you'd get who they're going on tour with.
Is it Marilyn Manson and Rob Zombie?
Nope.
Then I wouldn't care.
I'm gonna go way left field because you said I'd never guess. So my guess is they're touring with Gwar.
Nope.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
Lil
I'll-
Wayne. They're
Okay.
touring with Lil Wayne. If you wait a couple
So-
seconds, you'll see the fucking graphic come up.
well, and it's also worth mentioning. I don't think this is original Blink-182 either. They replaced
One
one
of
of
the
their
guys.
members with one of the guys from Alkaline Trio, which sucks. It doesn't make Blink-182 better. It just makes Alkaline Trio worse. It's transitive like that. Yeah, and then teaming up with Lil Wayne. I don't know that I've ever heard a Lil Wayne song. Like maybe I did,
I
but
mean,
if I did it unknowingly.
I feel like I've never heard one all the way through.
Sure,
I feel like
It's-
a friend
it's
of
just-
mine would put something on, and I'd tell him to cut that shit out.
it's not my genre of music, and that's not even saying like all rap. Just I think I know the kind of rap he does, and it's not my kind of rap. I don't
Yeah.
like that.
No,
I've heard one
agreed.
song by him. And it actually had good instrumentals in it and stuff like that, and it was okay. But I've never like.
I've heard songs he's in the background of that they're good.
So, having said all of this, I am still convinced that he is probably infinitely more talented than Blink-182 is. I'm sorry, they're awful. They've never done a good thing ever.
You know what? I'll disagree. I like some of their
small thing.
songs.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, next bit of e-news. You guys all saw the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer, right?
No, I looked at that and I went, nope.
Okay,
This is
well,
gone.
It's pretty bad.
I have a graphic coming up just to highlight my point. It looks awful.
It does.
And
Yeah.
the reason we're talking about it this week instead of the last week is because there is an update to it.
Yeah.
The creator has outright said,
He's gonna fix everything.
we're sorry, we're going to fix everything, our bad kind of thing. So, do you guys remember Jumanji?
Yeah.
Do you remember
Which
the kid
one?
gets turned into a fucking monkey
Yeah.
and how bad the CGI on that shit was back
Yep.
then?
No, that's about how this looks.
That's how this looks right now. It is.
I thought it was a joke, honestly. Like the first, the thing that popped up on my feed, and I saw like a picture of it, and so I was like, "This looks like shit. This has to be a joke." Move on.
So I will say one thing for this. I'm kind of judging this movie on 2 different scales. the look, which I know is mostly what we are talking about right now. The look is awful. It's garbage. It's borderline insulting, right? Like it doesn't look good. They're going to fix it. Yay. The movie itself just looks like a kid's movie, which I was never really going to like, regardless of what they did. But it's also not like this isn't like the. I even feel like Transformers was maybe aiming for an older age bracket than this was. To me, this just read like children's movie.
Okay,
Like
but
10 and under.
hold on. Think back a couple of years when was it Jason Lee did the first Alvin and the Chipmunks.
Right, but like that was like a kid's movie.
But that
right?
was entertaining.
I didn't fucking see it because it looked like a children's movie.
Yeah,
and
the first one.
It's just not my genre.
It was entertaining. Like
Okay.
Detective Pikachu is
Okay,
a
that I'm
kids
gonna see.
movie.
That's more of a nostalgia thing.
But again,
That's what
same
Sonic's
thing
trying
here
to
with
pull.
Sonic. That's what they were trying to hit.
Hold on, no, that's where I'd have to argue though. There are movies that are made to be nostalgia movies, like G.I. Joe. You're not marketing that towards kids. You're marketing that towards the adults who grew up with it. Same with Transformers. That's nostalgia, and you can tell because it's much more like high explosion, high action. People
Okay.
die.
Okay.
This,
Then
I
Detective
feel like you're never
Pikachu
going to see somebody die.
doesn't-
You're going to see people get knocked out because it's a kids movie.
Then Detective Pikachu doesn't fall under that either because they're not doing the original Ash. Sorry, the
no, they're
original
doing
Pokemon.
Detective Pikachu, which is a game series.
Correct, but it's a newer game series, so it doesn't
Sure.
quite hit the nostalgia factor that you're talking about by your
No,
own
but I also
criteria.
feel like it's not being marketed as a children's movie. I feel
Yeah,
like they are.
Sonic, nobody died. It was
Original-
always just like stomping on robots and saving animals and
That-
collecting rings.
You're missing the point of what I'm saying, though. I'm saying when you make a movie, you market to a certain demographic and you write to a certain age bracket. Those movies are written for like 13 to like 21-year-olds. This, I feel like, is being written for like 5 to 10-year-olds. I think this is a children's movie.
Okay. Is that why fucking Jim Carrey acts like he's
Yes.
insane?
Because his shtick
Thought that
is
was
kind of
Jim
old
Carrey.
hat, and it's going to play to that younger generation more than it's going to play. You can still score some of those nostalgia viewers. I'm not saying they were like fuck them. Nah. Sure, they were trying
Well,
to
no,
get that,
I'm
but
sure-
the writing is aimed to be a kids movie. The look was just a swing and a miss. So fixing the look, I'm sure this will actually be a serviceable kids movie. I don't think this is going to be great. I don't think it's going to be fucking mind blowing.
But you
But
don't think
it's
that
going to be a kids movie.
you don't think that look would give nightmares to children?
Oh no, it will. The look. That's why I'm judging it two different levels. The movie itself, sure, it looks like bad and stupid, and that's not quite what happened in Sonic. Yeah, but it's also a movie meant for like 10-year-olds. The look is just a swing and a miss, though. The look is on a different scale, and I don't know what they were trying to do. It looks like a little person in pajamas
Actually, I just
with
thought
like CG pajamas.
it looks like it was honestly. It looks like he's wearing a onesie.
That's what I mean.
whole
It's like a
time.
little person in pajamas. It's like a little onesie pajama thing.
Yeah, it was weird, and just like look at those hands.
Yeah.
Like even the hands are creepy.
And the teeth.
Yeah, just no. Anyways, they're fixing it. They said that they're gonna fix it. And here's the interesting part: there's already conspiracy theories saying that this was just one gigantic marketing ploy. That they
Not everything is a goddamn conspiracy.
no, exactly. This is what's exciting.
God.
Like every time anything comes up now, a conspiracy theory comes up, and I'm like, oh, so we're
Yeah.
just doing that.
Don't you know? That's what happens
That
all the time.
Jaws was a conspiracy
Pizzagate.
theory. Make us pollute the oceans. Kill the sharks.
I don't what?
If we're just making up conspiracy theories, fuck
Hey,
it.
I didn't make that up. It's been a thing on Reddit, and other folks are claiming it. It's
So
just
what's the conspiracy theory, Ed?
that it's a marketing ploy. That what they did was they never actually made a whole movie with this CGI character. They just wanted to piss people off so that there'd be
So the-
uproar.
Okay, I just love the concept of like, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a movie, and it's gonna look great. It's the kind of movie that'll put butts in seats. But we don't want to trust our own movie. So instead, we'll release a trailer that looks like shit, and then we'll fix it, and then we'll release the good movie we had
Okay,
hidden in our
hold
back
on though, Bonsai. Just hold on. You, as an IT person, have worked with marketing folk.
pocket. They are shifty.
Is
They are
this
shifty
beyond the
little
realm
weasels.
of possibility? I'm not even talking about because they're sneaky, because they come up with some of the dumbest fucking ideas ever.
Yeah, I was thinking it was more like, hey, we're gonna put this trailer out there that's half-assed to show that there's actually like people that want this movie, so we can get funding or the rest of the funding
But it's already funded.
to make the movie better.
It's
Yeah.
already funded.
I just
They're
think-
they're going. They've already talked about like this movie's going way over budget now because of the fix.
well, yeah, but it's a kids movie, so it's gonna print money.
And I'm telling you, this is like a movie made for 10-year-olds. It's going to be very generic. It's going to be very schlocky, but largely inoffensive.
But what if they're
So-
trying to do is scam like the producers, where if it flops, they just keep the extra cash?
All right.
This is springtime for Hitler.
Yeah.
Now that take this CG puppet marmot, whatever you want to call that thing.
They're
Take
calling
that
it
thing.
Sonic the Manhog.
I like that. Take the man-hog and put it against a Nazi Führer. Make this thing fight Nazis, and I will watch that movie. I don't
Oh,
care
yeah.
what you call it. At that point, I'm in.
Wait, hold on. I
Yeah.
want to make that movie.
Yeah. No, Sonic the
I-
Man-hog
I
versus the Nazi hordes.
I will do something that I rarely do. I will commit to our audience to watching this fucking movie just so I can review it for you.
So Eduardo will be watching that alone.
Yeah, normally this is a movie I see on an airplane on a very long flight because I've run out of everything else to see.
I don't know. Hit me up, man. I might be down to go with you.
But I will say I'm
We'll go to
gonna
the loony bin together, bro.
I'm gonna be
Okay.
baked out of my mind when I see this. Like I'm gonna have an edible and a half. It'll be me and the little kids giggling our asses off
I'll
until
get drunk.
until I get arrested. But you know,
I just the big tell. Why did they put it with humans? Why did you not just do a CG Sonic movie in a Sonic world? Why didn't you do that?
or if you do live action, it's like all CG, but you have one human that's just puttering around.
Yeah, it's something. I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
Anyways,
it's a
we-
children's movie.
we've spent plenty of time on this, plenty of time on Blink there. There is another bit of e-news, but I'm going to turn that over to Bonsai because I believe he's got the scoop.
Oh, don't make it sound like I'm fucking well educated on this. So today, what's the date? The 6th. Riot Games, man. It's both like shocking and yet not in the least bit surprising that what is considered to have one of the most toxic environments on the internet is one of the most toxic companies to work for. Today, 150 Riot employees walked out in protest. I don't think they quit. I think it was just like a mass walkout, stand outside and protest. Maybe they quit. I don't think it went that far. But even still, when 150 employees go like, yeah, we're not going to work for like an hour and then tell you to go fuck yourself, that's bad.
I hope as they left the building, they all said GG.
GG, bruh.
Yeah, just to fucking like be an asshole.
So for a little background, though, tell us why are they getting sued to begin with?
So the walkout is happening because there are, as far as I know, 5 different lawsuits against Riot Games for gender discrimination.
Okay.
And Riot's response to that was to add a mandatory arbitration clause to their contracts instead of like openly and outwardly working to fix the sexual harassment issues. Well, not harassment, I guess. To my knowledge, nobody was grabbed or groped or anything. I could be wrong, but nothing I read outright said that. But it was just a lot of really just kind of disgusting behavior. I read one article that was talking about a ranking list for female employees going around, and this wasn't like a thing back and forth between 2 guys who were kind of jerks. This was like a large team-wide email chain that would like new girl comes in, where does she fall on the hotness ranking or whatever.
That's
It's
that's
just fucking
ridiculous, man. Like, out of all the things, why would you do that? And if you're gonna be an idiot and do that, why would you like put it on paper or digital paper where it can be retrieved? Like, first off, don't be a scumbag. But if you're
Right.
gonna be a scumbag,
Be a smart scumbag.
yeah, Jesus.
and-
Because they see a 6, I see 3 2s.
So my you know me. I'm not one of these like massive social change for all the things. I personally don't think it's, two friends from work or outside work and one goes, "Hey, the new girl's really cute." I don't see anything wrong with that. Even so far as like, "Oh man, that new girl in QA is prettier than the other new girl in QA." It's a little shitty, but I don't think that's like hell-worthy sin. Fucking call him out and fire him. It's a little douchey to be ranking people, but that's more of a personality thing that you need to get over than it is like anything
Yeah.
heinous to me. But something like this, when it's a big chain that you keep running on a work server, like, just what kind of scummy basement dweller are you at that point that you're like, we have to keep this running thread so we have a list of the ladies? No,
Yeah, and
you're gross. You've hit gross at that level.
there's a couple other things. I don't want to over-index on this particular thing, but there's a couple other things from that are being claimed in the articles. One is that like it was really hard to hire female talent because they were always like not a culture fit or some other like cop-out kind of statement. And on face value, that one's like, okay, well, seems like there was an agenda on both sides. But the particular article I was reading actually called out where one of the females in leadership put an idea forth in like one of their general meetings, and it was shot down. So she told her coworker, who was a male, to present it next week, and apparently it was accepted, and everybody clapped, sort of thing.
Well,
Obviously,
that's what's been happening in the gaming industry, as well as other industries too. Carpentry is also one of the bad ones there. It's very chauvinistic.
Interesting.
carpentry.
Yeah, dude, seriously, like fucking stage carpentry and regular carpentry, there's a lot of chauvinist like men in that. It's all about like how masculine everything is, and like they'll definitely underpay the girls compared to the dudes, and then they'll
Bro,
they
I
don't
built the most elegant sconces.
if they don't like a girl, they'll give her a bunch of work to do that she might tire out with or whatever, or may not be able to finish or something like that, and then they'll fire her for fucking
I have a question though.
not being able to complete the work.
I have a question though, because I was in the military. I was in an all male unit because I was a combat arms. That stuff happened all the time between just dudes. So if you weren't part of the in group, or if you didn't fit the stereotype of what the in group was, you have to be super into guns and super into like banging all the girls or whatever, and things like that. You were ostracized as well. There were plenty of folks who were like that. So how much of that is just those particular industries tend to be male driven, therefore tend to have these little boys clubs kind of thing?
But it's still chauvinist. It doesn't excuse it.
No, not an excuse. I'm just wondering, is it that we need an industry change, or is this specifically targeted because of girls? Because
We need to change a lot of things. There's a lot of like even working for so the stage company that I was working for. I won't say a name or nothing because I don't want to ask out them or whatever. But I'm bi, right? And there was plenty of homophobia like running around there, and they just never really did anything to me because I'm 6'6" and I will fuck you up. Like I don't give a fuck. Like don't fuck with me. And
I
I'm
will
pretty
tear
knowing
out your shins, you piece of shit.
and pretty fucking well tempered, right? And I did work. I did a lot of work, right? And it didn't bother me too much. But in all those kind of industries, there needs to be a big industry change in a lot of things and a lot of way of thinking.
So I just think it's that, again, it goes back to that us versus them and that little like culture, little kind of clubs. It's high school all the fuck over again.
Mm-hmm.
But in this particular case, like the forced arbitration, though, that's I mean, that's
It's the
scummy.
wrong response.
Is it
It's the
even enforceable
wrong
though?
response.
Do we know?
I don't know. I just know if you're gonna look at somebody and handle a situation like that, that's not the response you want to give. Hey, we're really upset you treat people this way. We're gonna sue you. Okay, well, from now on, can we just handle this out of court? How about from now on, we'll take care of that issue you 5 ladies have brought up? Because to my knowledge, that hasn't really been discussed.
Yeah, like how about from now on, we stop being douchebags about it.
And how about from now on, the people who were on that mail thread don't work here?
Yeah, but see, here's the challenge though, right? How high up did that thing go?
Right.
I've experienced this at different levels at different companies, but fucking harassment happens at a lot of places, and I've heard about it at a lot of places. And yeah, when it gets up that high, unfortunately, more times than not, nothing happens.
Like they'll shuffle the people that are complaining away into a dark little corner and give them like a treat so they shut up. But yeah.
But nothing happens. Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. That's rampant. But spinning off of that, spinning off of how unfortunate this is and, people's rights, it's a different issue, but it's a similar thing and it's in the same industry. NetherRealm Studios is now coming under fire.
Oh, did you see that? I had that logo even before because I didn't know you were going to talk about it, but now it's there. Ha.
Blam! NetherRealm Studios under fire for like the crazy crunch time stuff. So Eduardo has talked about crunch time before on the podcast, but here's another company. It was BioWare before, right? Is who we were talking about?
The Anthem fiasco and whatnot.
So now NetherRealm for Mortal Kombat, apparently these guys got hit with it twice. When the marketing reel came out a few months ago, apparently they were under crunch time to get that polished and pretty and ready to go. So people were working 100-hour work weeks, and it's not like these are hourly employees. These guys are getting paid their very regular salary to pull 100 hours a week.
Which is fucked.
That's insane.
So here's something.
That's more than 2 weeks worth of work in a week.
So here's something to tag along with this. So there was a little bit of controversy because there's always fucking controversy.
Of course, everything is controversy.
With NetherRealms themselves, because a lot of people were really upset because of the female costumes that the characters had, right? So NetherRealms went completely out of the way to unsexify, I know that's not a word, their female characters. But then there was controversy, say that fast 20 times, counter controversy, because they left all the male characters super sexy. And
where's the fat dudes?
Yeah, where's the fat dudes or what? Why does every motherfucker not have a shirt on? Right? Mm-hmm. Like, things like that, and they're all ripped and shit. But so, okay, talk about that. But here's the truth. None of that fucking matters, because it was all fucking posturing, because they're pieces of shit and treat their employees like shit. Right? So neither of the controversies mean fucking anything, and the only reason they change it is because they want your fucking money, not because they actually give a shit. Look how they're treating their employees.
Right. Yeah, it's what's sad is that I actually had a buddy, my old boss at my last company, worked for a couple of different game companies. He worked for 3DO when they released the Panasonic 3DO, so he has one. I will forever be jealous of that. But he worked for 3DO. He almost worked for Telltale. He bounced around to a few companies. When I was talking about it, I was like, man, like, why aren't you with Blizzard or, somewhere fucking dope by now? And he's like, I had to get out of games. Games is a young man's industry because they expect you to work crazy, stupid hours. So this has been a thing in the industry for years, because my boss had been at my company for 5 years by the time I started working there. And I haven't worked there for a few years now. So this has been a thing. Like, these guys have been shit on for a long time. And honestly, from what I've seen, a lot of it's the publishers going, yeah, we'll give you the money for this game. You'll have it done by this date. That's a widely crazy, unrealistic date. Yeah, you're going to have it done by that date.
Yeah.
And that's just how it goes. Like, and it's not negotiable. It's not optional. And that's why, honestly, that's why I feel like the indie developers these days are producing better games, because they have the time to just do what they want to do with the game and then build that.
It just, look, anytime this has happened and it's pretty much killed the book industry too. You've got these major publishing houses, which basically the AAA, that take up all of the they buy up everything, they take all the profits. Like, it is very rare that as an author you're actually going to be making good money. You have to be very like, no one can be a J.K. Rowling, right? Like, there's only one J.K. Rowling, and like even someone like,
And his name is Stephen King.
right? Even someone like R.R. Martin or Stephen King, right? Like, they pump out books all the time, and it's because if you want to make a living out of it, once you
churn.
you got to churn, and you got a little notoriety, use it. There's been a couple of
Stephen
authors.
King's retirement really was just so he could write slower, I think, because he hasn't stopped making books. They've
No.
just
And he's
gotten
actually been
slower.
releasing books under a different pseudonym because he just has stories to tell. So
Yeah.
what's interesting, and I didn't discover this until later on, some authors, they don't even write their own books anymore. What they do is that they'll create outlines for these books and pay ghostwriters to write them, because
Oh man, can I get that job? I'm just like, hey, tell a story and make like A, B, and C happen. All right, later, sucker.
yeah, well, that's pretty much, isn't that what we call our Game of Thrones recap?
Hey, don't you judge my Game of Thrones recap.
But it's just, everything's starting to get, polluted like that. Same with games. Like, the publishers don't give a shit. They just want to make money. Like, none of the publishers care of the quality of the game that is being made as long as they can make money.
Right.
Like, half of the time, they probably don't even know what the fuck these genres are about, especially the people making the decisions. It's like certain Hollywood movies. It's the reason why I think Sonic got so fucked. Like, the execs doing it, I doubt any of them actually played a goddamn Sonic game.
Oh yeah, no, and it's honestly what's sad is, yeah, this is a thing that's rampant all over. Unfortunately, it's become less about making a story that somebody wants to tell or making a good movie, and just about making a movie that makes money. Doesn't matter if a movie's good or not. It matters if people see it. That's what matters.
Yeah. And that's pretty sad, too. Because,
Capitalism.
well, see, just, everyone says that, but humans are too much pieces of shit for any other system to really work.
Yeah, it's like Churchill said, capitalism's the worst form of government, except for all those other ones.
Yeah,
I'm
like,
not saying that any other government's better. I'm just
Yeah.
saying capitalism. I know they're all fucking shit. It's been proven by history.
yeah, that's the hardest part. Like, I've gone into many drawn out arguments about people are like, well, socialism's just not doing it right. I'm like, look, theories are great, but we're humans and we're all
Yeah.
selfish as fuck.
Politics! Politics!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Politics!
Eh,
Politics! That's the
It's-
politic alarm, guys.
it's
Change
not
the
even
subject.
that, man. It's
Change the
we're-
subject.
We're seeing this in action with these video games, and it's making
Yeah, I
things
mean,
worse.
sorry, a little bit here, Devin. We're not talking about all the politics in the world. We're just talking about what's happening in the gaming industry.
Yeah, man, we're just talking about our politics, man.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah, man.
Speaking of
You're
games,
the man, man.
Bonsai, there's a shared game that you and I is our little secret rendezvous. You want to talk about that?
Spoiler: It's
I mean, I
Moonlighter.
know what you're talking about, but it's not even like we play this game together. So
Yes, we
that's
do. We
just-
play at the same time. He holds my dick and I hold his.
Oh,
It's
I
really
thought
hard.
You guys
To,
went separate
it's
bathrooms
really
playing the-
hard to play Switch that way, but we figure it out.
We don't even live in the same state.
Dude, digital dicks. This is the future. Get to it. Moonlighter, go.
So I guess we've been playing Moonlighter. Yeah, both me and Eduardo picked up Moonlighter. Honestly, I'm going to lead this one real strong. This is the best $30 I've ever spent on a game.
I paid less than him.
I'm rounding up. I didn't pay $30, but even new, like that's the new price of this game, complete in box new, is $30.
Yeah.
It's so good. So I like to think of Moonlighter as old school Zelda with an extreme focus on inventory management.
That's what I've heard from other people too.
And somehow that is so much fun.
It's
I
done
am-
real well.
Right? I'm really starting to like with how many games have come up with a really simple mechanic but just extrapolated to a point where it somehow becomes a game sort of within a game, if you get what I mean. This is one of those. Like, who would have thought that managing your inventory meticulously would make for really compelling gameplay?
I know what that's like on Tarkov.
It's different.
Who cares?
No, it's the same. How many M4s can I fit in my backpack before I get shot in the back of the head?
Well, but it's different. Here you actually run a shop.
Right. So in the game, you own a shop, and there are these 4 or 5, I think there's 5, these dungeons outside of your village, and the dungeons reorganize themselves and refill with monsters. So you can go and raid the dungeons, take gear out, and sell it at your shop, and make new gear to raid bigger, better dungeons and all that. But honestly, a lot of times, even like gear I'm finding, I'm just gonna sell that because it's way more worth it to get the money. And to add a layer of complexity, you only get so much in your bag, and certain items can only be placed in certain positions inside of your bag. So it becomes this big game of how often do I go back to town? What resources do I need to be buying and selling in my shop? What resources do I need to be collecting to build better gear? And what resources can I actually hold right this second because this thing is taking up this position, and that's a problem. And even when a certain item is set to take a certain position, you can have the same item but set to take a different position, and then that same item takes up 2 slots.
They don't stack.
Do you keep both? Do you get rid of one? How badly do you need it? There are just these weird little instances where you really have to take care of your inventory. And then the whole game becomes raid a dungeon, go back, sell shit. Raid a dungeon, go back, sell shit. It sounds like it should be horrible and monotonous, but every time I'm going in the dungeon, I'm going, fuck, I can get a little bit further. I just need a couple more bucks, buy this thing, farm that thing, dive down in. You dive down in. So every dungeon has 3 bosses, and you got to hit. There's a way to read the rooms to tell where the boss is.
Yeah.
Like the boss will always follow certain rooms, but you got to find that room kind of thing.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can skip around. Sometimes you're just screwed and you got to run the whole gauntlet. The game's got layers, man. It's a lot of fun. I'm probably babbling too much and not doing it much justice, but seriously, the game, it's very addicting gameplay.
It is a fun game, and it's a roguelike in the sense that once you die in a dungeon, if you die in a dungeon without leaving and taking your gear with you, then you lose most of the gear except the top row of your inventory.
Yeah, not your equipped gear, but what the stuff you're taking back to sell.
Exactly. Generally, I don't like games that are repetitive and where it has to repeat. But what I like about this game is that there is still some forward progression. You do get better gear, and what he was talking about, the particular mechanics is these certain items have curses on them, is what they are. Yeah. And the curses are actually kind of creative. Some of them can only be placed in certain spots, but that's one of the simplest ones. There's also curses where some of them will destroy other things in adjacent tiles, right? Depending on its curse. There's ones that will convert the tile wherever the arrow is pointing into this same item. And there's even some where it's the other 2 that I've run into is one is this will immediately send the item adjacent to it home, like back to your shop, and that's just yours now. So if you're lucky enough and you have big ticket items, you can use one of those curses to just launch it back to your home base. And one of the ones that I find the most infuriating is some of the items have the fragile curse, where if you get hit too many times, they shatter and completely disappear from your inventory. So you go back to town going, what the? Some of the curses are instant. Some of the curses only happen when I've seen either transfer room or when you go back to town. And so you really have to pay attention. It tends to be fairly intricate. If I had anything negative to say about it is the boss mechanics are...
He's not so mad about this.
It's not so that they're frustrating necessarily, because there is a pattern, you can figure it out, but they're not, like, the difficulty levels are weird. So in particular, and this just happened to me recently, is on one of the dungeons, the level 2 boss was way harder than like the whole dungeon boss, because you get 2 guardians per dungeon like stage, and then you get an overall dungeon guardian, which, you know, big dungeon boss. And I just remember this guardian level 2 of the desert dungeon was full of fucking bullshit. Like, the dude knew where you were gonna be before you knew you were gonna be there. And that is some horse shit. But the guardian at the end was just like, oh, I'm just this thing. I just kind of walk around. Just hit me when you get a chance. It's cool. And if you have the bow and arrow, it's fucking cake. Just cake. But
Have you fought the third dungeon? What dungeon are you on?
I just finished. I just finished the third one.
Oh, you finished the third?
Yeah, I'm on the tech dungeon now.
Oh, I haven't finished the third yet.
Yeah.
That third dungeon boss is brutal.
That second. Do you mean the guardian of the forest?
No, the third dungeon boss.
Oh yeah, that's
the
the one
second boss in the third dungeon.
That's the one I'm complaining about. God
No,
damn
I
it.
know. He's
Yeah,
tough.
He's mean. Like, the mechanic doesn't even make any sense.
No,
It just.
I haven't made it to the. I haven't been brave enough to fight the third guy yet, so he's easy.
Oh, the guardian. Yeah, fucking cake.
Oh shit! I keep going. Well, that guy's real difficult, so I'm gonna wait.
I was in the same boat.
He seems real hard.
So I was in the same boat, and I was like, okay, I think in 2 rooms there's a boss. I'm gonna go back to town real quick, dump all my shit, and I'll be back, and then, you know, be good. I forgot to get fucking potions. And I was like, oh shit, whatever. I'll gather some shit in the next couple rooms and I'll be back. I go to the next room. It was the fucking boss. And I'm like, oh shit. God damn it. Well, there goes all that cash I spent on the return spell or whatever. Anyways, it was cake. And I was like, oh, okay. Here we go.
Oh, and I'm fighting. I have fought the third. It's whichever one is the snake.
Yeah, that's easy.
Oh, he kicked
Cake.
my ass the first time I fought him.
Nah.
I only fought him the once.
That dude's cake.
All right.
But yeah. Anyways, I think the game's great. I'd give it a
it's
rating,
well fun.
Bonsai.
Ball of fun. I'll give it. This isn't gonna make any sense. Anybody plays the game. I name all the items myself. I don't read the names of the items, so I'm gonna give it 5 pieces of paper with dust on it out of 5 pieces of paper with dust on it. I'm telling you, that's one of the items. It's a piece of paper with dust on it.
I will give it 4.5 ass kickings of people trying to steal shit from my shop out of 5.
Oh god, they
ass
never get away
kickings.
with it. People try and jack shit from your shop, and you get to tackle them.
Pretty much. And eventually you get to upgrade it where you can have someone else also tackle them.
Oh really? I haven't gotten that yet.
Yeah. So I just want to say, you get a shop assistant once you upgrade enough. Why she gotta be black? It was kind of weird. But anyways, yeah, great game. I recommend it. I don't know. Is it
$30
just is it
$30
just on Switch? I got it for like 15.
Yeah, well, I'm saying if you get it used, you can find it cheaper, but brand new, it's $30. I got it for like 20 or 25.
Nintendo was having a sale. But yeah, check it out. Is it for more?
I only know of it on Switch, but
No, it's on Steam and PS4 as well.
Oh, there you go.
Awesome.
It's great.
Yeah, pick it up. It's
great.
great. It's
great.
You'll sink a bunch of hours into it. Totally worth the money.
It's great.
Okay. I think we are at the time to begin the Game of Thrones recap.
Woo! Klops, I know you're excited.
Yeah.
I've never seen this show in my life.
Game of Thrones last week, man. I was all prepared for an episode all about talking. You know, we killed the fucking ice guy. He dead. And I was like, all right, we only got 3 episodes left. This next episode, we just gonna yak. Blah, 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 blah. For the most part, I was right. It's a lot of people going like, so that was fucked up. That was fucked up. Then they start talking like, you know, we're kind of fucked. We had this big army, but they got eaten by zombies. That shit's bad. So they're like, all right, fuck it. We'll just march on this place anyways, because we're badass. So let's just go march on this place. And everyone's like, we're not really that badass. We're badass. We have dragons. We're going. So they fly the dragons out there. Spoiler alert. Shut your baby ears now. That motherfucker gets shot right out of the goddamn sky. The boat's got ballistas on the front of them. They shoot it in the chest, and they shoot it in the chest, and even the dragon's like looking over at the dragon lady, like, they just fucking shoot me in the chest, but it's still flying. It's still like, fuck. They shot me in the chest, and then they shoot it in the wing, and it's like, and then they just shoot it in the throat, and it's bleeding everywhere, and it falls in the ocean, and it dies. And it's so very Walking Dead at this point, because this is one of the things where they're like, that major thing died. Yeah, we'll talk about it for 2 minutes. Now let's move on and focus on what we're going to do from here on out. And I'm like, really? Just like, you care, but you don't, like, really care? Okay.
For someone who hasn't kept up, how many dragons were there?
There were 3. We're down to fucking 1.
Okay, just
well,
checking.
there were hundreds, and then by the time the show starts, they're all dead. And then we get 3, and then this bitch fucks around and 2 of them die.
Okay, go on.
She just keeps fucking around. And I'm like, what are you doing? Stop fucking around. So while they got the ballistas and they're killing the dragon, the boats are like, well, we have ballistas. Shoot the boats. So they do, and then all the boats get fucked up, and they kidnap the dragon riding chick's best friend, and they're like, this is our bitch now. So they take her and they tie her up, and they're like, yeah, hostage, come talk terms with us. So they show up to talk terms, and they're like, little guy, Peter Dinklage is like, hey man, heartfelt speech, right? Heartfelt speech. Evil chick's my sister. I'll appeal to her better nature. It's all gonna work out with a heartfelt speech. And she's like, no, I'm gonna kill that chick. So she goes to the chick and she's like, hey, just say last words. Like, I'm just gonna kill you. And then the best friend chick who they kidnapped is like, hey, burn down the city. And it was like, all right. And then they cut off her head and push her off a wall. So she's dead. So then the rest of the time, it's a whole bunch of like, this chick who's supposed to be on the throne now because she's taken it is actually banging her nephew, but she didn't know it was her nephew. And because he's her nephew, he actually has more rights to the throne than she does. So she's getting all, oh shit, now everybody's going to want this guy to have the throne instead of me. So I'm going to get a little wonky because I still want to bang him because I didn't know he was my nephew. But also other things. That's all fucked up. So she's getting a little rocky, and she's supposed to be leading dragons, but she's not all there in the head anymore. I'm pretty sure she's gonna die. Meanwhile, she went to the guy who's actually the son of the king who took over the throne. She's like, hey, you're his son, right? And he's like, yeah, sorry, my dad killed your dad, but like, I didn't even know he was my dad. I'm a bastard. And she's like, it's all good, bro. I'm gonna make you a lord of a whole region. Bam! Lordhood. And he's like, fuck yeah. And he runs off to the girl who killed the zombie guy. And he's like, let's get married. And she's like, nah, I don't really do that. I just kill people. So bye. She gets on a horse, finds this dude with a scar for a face who's afraid of fire. And he's like, I just kill people. And I really don't like that anymore. And she's like, it's cool, bro. We'll go out of this bitch together. So they ride off into the sunset, not in a doing it way, in a like, we're just going to stab people until people stab us kind of way. So that's kind of dope. And then the dude who died but got better and is then now banging his aunt got with his sister and his brother and is like, hey, I got to tell you some shit. I'm not your brother. I'm this chick's nephew. And they're like, well, fuck, what do we do about that? And then the little dude and the bald guy are like, shit, let's talk treason real quick. Do we treason? And the little guy's like, bro, we should not be talking about treason. And bald guy's like, treason's all good as long as you back the winner. Know what I'm saying? And the little guy's like, no, I don't know what you're saying. And bald guy's like, you know what I'm saying. And he's like, no, for real, like, stop saying that. So that's kind of left, and then I think that'll pretty much get you. I think if you started watching it right now, you'd pretty much follow what's going on in this show.
All right.
They're all gonna ride and fight over a chair. Oh, and there is one last thing. They find out that the badass lady knight, she wasn't a knight. She's just this lady who's like 7 feet tall and a badass. they finally make her a knight because they're like, we're knights, we can fucking knight other people, and she's a badass, she's a knight. Then they find out she's a virgin. So the guy who was banging his sister, who started the whole fucking war, everything is this motherfucker's fault, and he needs to die, and he hasn't yet. But he's like, hey, I'm not a total piece of shit anymore. Do you want to like hook up because you're a virgin and we're going to go to war and people are going to die? And she's like, yeah, I do. And then they're like, hey, man, folks are going to go ride and fight over that chair. And she's like, well, I'm going to stay here and protect that chick because I swore I would to her mom and I don't break oaths. And he's like, yeah, I probably need to go kill my sister. I kind of fucked up a lot of stuff. That's pretty much all my fault. So I'm going to go do that. Really hoping that guy gets stabbed in the face.
Okay. Point of clarification. You
Yeah,
said
no,
that,
ask me all the questions. I will fill in
you
everything.
said that chick was kind of off her rocker, but she has to manage dragons.
Yeah,
Point of
yeah.
clarification. Didn't we say there was just the one dragon? So it isn't
Sure, yeah,
dragons,
it's just
dragon.
one dragon right now, but she's still got to manage it, and she's got real bad decision-making skills. She had it, man. She was on lock at the beginning, and I was like, this chick knows what's going on. This queen bitch gets to sit on the throne because she queen bitch, and she earned the title queen bitch because she was cold. She was nice when she had to be, but she'd show you the pimp hand if she had to. She ran her fucking people, right?
But she was also in another continent fighting those people.
For real. Yeah, no, she fucking like dominated that continent and was like, let's go continent. We're going to that continent and taking that bitch too. So she was on it. But now she's like, feelings, pressure, can't handle. She gonna crack.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, question about the dragons.
Yep.
These dragons, how do you get dragon babies? Like, do you need more than one dragon to make babies, or do they make babies on their own?
She found calcified dragon eggs and then went in a house that was on fire and just like sat with them. But because she's Targaryen, they got a little bit of dragon in their blood, so she's completely immune to fire. And the heat of the house burning down around her woke up the dragon eggs and hatched them, and she became their mother. Big air quotes.
Okay. You didn't answer my question. Can dragons make their own dragon eggs?
Yeah,
or do
no,
they need other
normally they
dragons?
would, but there are no more dragons. That's just why there's dragons now, post-dragons existing.
Yeah. So there's one dragon. Can he make dragon babies, or she?
I don't know. I don't believe it's an asexual reproduction. Though the big rumor right now is the little fella Peter Dinklage. People keep saying he's going to get his own dragons. I don't know how that makes sense. I kind of don't like it, but that's what a lot of people are saying.
So he's gonna have sex with the dragon and have more dragons?
I'm not sure. Little baby dwarf dragons, maybe?
This is how you get dragonborns in D&D. They never really figured it
Oh,
out.
so this whole thing is Birth of the Dragonborn.
Yep.
Okay.
Straight
Actually,
up.
they're working on making the Kenku as well, because the one dude is known as the Three-Eyed Raven, and he can like take over animals' brains and retarded people. And I'm not even kidding. He takes over animals and one mentally handicapped guy.
That's oddly specific.
It really was. That the whole Hodor thing. That guy says Hodor because when he was a little kid, he jumped in his mind and told him he was gonna have to hold a door, and then he grew up and he did, and he got eaten by zombies. Hold the door became Hodor.
No, I realized I saw all the memes.
Yeah, he holds doors.
Everybody was real disappointed.
Dude, that was because they killed the simpleton. He's just like this friendly giant who's just like, I want to take care of these kids because I'm a simpleton, but I can do stuff. And then he was like, hey, simpleton, sacrifice your bitch ass. And he was like, damn. And he does it.
Well, because some sort of magical imprinting.
Klops, questions?
Now, is the guy you're talking about Lannister or whatever? Like he's Jaime Lannister with one hand?
That's the guy who needs to die.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought you were talking about.
Yeah, he needs to die. Everything is his fault. All of it. It's all his fault.
Yeah, the majority of it, yeah.
Yeah, it's that guy. Yep.
All right. Well, and there is your
the
Game of Thrones recap. All right. That's all we got today. Unless anyone has anything else.
Does anybody else want to poorly describe a TV show?
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I'm goth. Done.
Oh, what was the one with fuck it, SWAT cats? We're cats, and we have planes.
Oh, that's right.
That's all of SWAT cats.
Yeah, pretty much.
Airwolf. All right.
Star Wars prequels. I'm upset about things.
I want to be tough.
Nobody tells me I'm special.
All
Why don't I
right.
get to be on the council?
Klopp's
The
final
council's mean
words.
to me.
Why don't I get to be on the council?
Bonsai.
I'm just saying, people gotta stop fucking their relatives in this world, and things will just be better. Just don't do that.
I mean, down.
This is what happens when Alabama Game of Thrones is years after Alabama takes over the world.
This is like the in the future after the post-apocalyptic world of Deliverance.
Yeah, basically.
All right. And on that note, bye.
See ya.